Hi, welcome to Shop Talk Live. I'm very happy to have with me today my co-host, Joe Bona, president of Bona Design Labs. Hey, Joe, how are you?
Hey, Carolyn, good to see you. Good to be with you.
You too. Thanks for joining me. So I'm very excited to have with us today. We're going to be talking with a local favorite here in my DC area with Dash In Food Stores. They've been in the news a lot lately, so we're looking forward to hearing firsthand and seeing firsthand what they've been up to. I'll let our guests talk a little bit more, but they've been in operation since about the 1970s as a petroleum distributor. And Joe, Dash In is quite the competition here in the DC region, don't they?
Oh my gosh, Sheets, Royal Farms, Wawa, I can't imagine. So I'm sure Blackie's got a lot to say about that, but competition brings out the best of people, and clearly from what I've seen so far, they're up to the challenge for sure.
Oh, for sure. So we're going to go ahead and let's just get started. Why don't we? I'd like to bring in Blackie Wills, President and Chief Operating Officer for the Wills Group. You can turn on your camera and join us. Welcome, Blackie.
Hey, Carolyn. Hey, Joe. Pleasure to be with you both today.
Great. Well, thanks for coming in. So, Blackie, thank you. Dash In has been on a crazy busy renovation journey. I know with some of your stores out in Maryland, but especially a brand new store that you just opened out in my area here in Virginia. And we were, in fact, hoping to visit it back when we had our market focus tour here in September, but it just wasn't quite built. So I'm sure you'll tell us a little bit about that journey of getting permits and getting building, and when you're in an interesting area such as this, growing as fast as it is. And I've been to this store. It's amazing. I brought props with me today. I have my Dash In up here if we need a sip of water. And it's magnificent, and it was really a joy to be out there. And next, my question was if you can build one closer to my house, not to put you on the spot, but Fairfax, Virginia, love to have one right down the street.
Love to be there.
Yes, we'll see what we can do. We actually just published a great story today, actually, on Global C-Store Focus. It's on our website if you want to check it out. Great story, talks a lot about what you're doing, where you're doing it, and some really cool pictures and whatnot. So I encourage everybody to take a look at that. We'll have that link in the show notes as well. So why don't we just go ahead and jump in? So Blackie, can you tell us a bit about Dash In, the story, how this new food service concept came together?
Yeah, absolutely, Carolyn. Dash In's been in existence for many years, since 1979, but we've been on a journey over the last few years to try to really reinvent Dash In. And I'm very excited to have the unveiling of our third generation store concept in Loudoun County, Virginia. It's been several years in the making, and it includes several kind of new innovations for Dash In. And really, you can see as kind of this brief presentation we're going to go through, it starts with the new visual identity with Dash In. We've got a new logo, new style guide to present to the public here. We've been very excited about that. We've also done major innovations with both our menu, prepared food and beverage, as well as our kind of environment, and really elevated kind of facility and store format. So you can kind of see some photos here of both the location and the menu. Dash In has struggled to kind of develop an identity in food service, and that's something that I've been working actively with our team and some consultant partners over the last few years to really dig into that. And so we've got some different examples of products that you can see here on the screen. Two of what we think are going to be signature products for Dash In or on this slide. You can see these mini donuts that are being tossed with cinnamon. So we actually fried donuts in-house in this new store concept. And we then have varied flavors. So whether it's powdered sugar or cinnamon or Mexican chocolate, so some different taste profiles. You know, it's a convenience store staple, but typically you see it in kind of a package variety. So having a fresh donuts was something we're very excited about. Another thing is you can see our house-made chips, and we bring in sliced potatoes and fry those, and then we season those. Several different flavors there, barbecue, salt and vinegar, salt and pepper. And one thing that's kind of unique for the Mid-Atlantic region and the Chesapeake Bay is we offer our Old Bay chips, which are kind of a good Mid-Atlantic Chesapeake flavor. So we're very excited about those two things. You can see also here some of our other fresh made bakery products. So we've got several danishes and cookies that we offer. And so we've really made significant advances with our menu. This is showing quite a bit of the breakfast day part, going back to kind of the lunch and dinner day part. We've got a variety of menu items. You're seeing examples here of several of our salads and sides. One of the things that's unique about our menu with the third generation concept is we're bringing in raw proteins. So we've got raw ground beef as part of our craft burgers. We bring in raw shaved ribeye for our steak sandwiches and steak salads. We're bringing in raw chicken. We're also bringing in a pork carnitas product. So, and that was part of Dashin's effort to bring in more wholesome ingredients. That's really the focus of our menu. We're not calling it healthy or necessarily nutritious because it has options for that, but it also has options on the indulgent side. But we really wanted a wholesome menu, fresh ingredients. Here's some other examples. I talked about craft burgers. That's something we're really leaning into. That's something we believe Dashin can become known for. The burger on the right in the middle is actually a collaboration with a celebrity chef in the DC area, Spike Mendelsohn. Spike developed this burger. It's the Spike Burger. It has a fresh Angus ground beef patty combined with grilled mushrooms and onions, topped with a sunny side up egg, and includes bacon. And so that was kind of a fun collaboration that we had here with somebody that has notoriety in the DC area. And that's part of our effort to really become known as a food service destination. And so part of what we were trying to build here is kind of a restaurant within a convenience store. And the nice thing is that we're able to offer indoor seating in this third generation concept. We also have an outdoor patio. And so with these new stores, pretty much the majority of them are going to include indoor seating. Some will include outdoor seating. And that's really part of creating that food service destination. So, and yeah, you can see some photos here of some members actually of our team that participated in our photo shoot that are kind of enjoying that indoor seating. And you can also see we use a touchscreen ordering system for in-store orders. We're in the process of launching our app where we're going to have mobile ordering available as well as third-party delivery with some of the major partners. So,
Blackie, I have a quick question for you. First of all, the donuts are amazing. I think I could eat donuts for all day parts.
Right.
Yeah, I could always go for a donut, a good donut. But when I was looking at and hearing you talk about the seating, I'm wondering if you could expand a little on that, because there's always been the debate, right? Seating takes up space, and when it's not being used, and some people think that it adds credibility, it adds to ambiance and experience, it helps sell the food. Other people say it takes up parking spaces, which they would rather not do. And I'd love to get your perspective on how you felt that was important for you and how it's working.
That's a great question, Joe. Dashin, this is our 55th location, and in the Mid-Atlantic. And out of our prior 54 locations, we only had a couple that had indoor seating. And typically we shied away from it. Now, it's often been because we felt like we didn't have enough real estate. We didn't have a large enough store format to do that. But when we started on this journey several years ago to build this store concept, we said, we are absolutely leaning into food. We've got to create a food service destination. And we thought providing indoor seating was critical for that. Historically, we've been very much, the belief that customers are going to come in and get their food and be on their way, and then they would eat at the office, in their car, or at home, or whatever. And so this was really intentional to build food credibility, and I think it's worked. This location in the first month had the food service sales are already double of our next highest food service location in the network. So it absolutely, I think, proved the hypothesis that we had in mind that we were going to do that. And we think sky's the limit. That's without mobile ordering, without third-party delivery, and without curbside. And as we start to implement those new customer enhancements, we think the numbers are just absolutely going to grow. And we go. Sorry,
I
go
was gonna
ahead.
say, I was gonna say, are these new sites that you're looking at for the new concept, are they bigger than your
Typically,
typical?
yeah,
Yeah,
larger
okay.
format. I would say the average site within the existing network's probably about an acre.
Uh-huh.
And our average store size is in the 3,500 square foot level, about. These new stores, this happens to be a 5,600 square foot store,
Oh, wow.
and in part it includes beer and wine sales in Virginia. We also have a 4,500 square foot prototype for locations where we're not able to sell beer and wine. So we are moving to a larger store format in order to accommodate the dining rooms, dining area. So, and you
Have you
know,
thought about drive-through at all, out of curiosity?
we're going to shy away from drive-through. We actually had drive-throughs in the 90s when we partnered with a
Oh,
lot of national
interesting.
QSRs. Yeah,
Ah,
that's been part of the Dash and evolution. At one point, we had partnered with QSRs like Subway, Taco Bell, Church's Chicken,
yeah,
et cetera. And we had drive-throughs at that time. And we've kind of decided to move away from that. I think our answer to that is going to be curbside. So we're going to
okay.
be offering curbside delivery in the next sometime in the next 12 months as part of our mobile app. And so we think that that'll be a nice complement in lieu of having a drive-through.
So it's really a food destination, and you actually want
Absolutely.
people to come and, yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in our stores today, there's not the opportunity to linger. It's
yeah,
kind of, come in, shop, and then get out. And we really wanted to allow, customers to linger. And I tell you, it's been one of the things that's been really interesting to see is our store has kind of become a local hangout for a lot of the teenagers in the community.
mm,
Sometimes they come in after school and they grab something and then they head home, and then they come back later in the evening. And a lot of times they'll get something to eat and kind of set up and do some homework or just kind of hang out. So
Wow.
it's really become a community meeting place. And so that's something else we're trying to achieve with Dash and that we want to become known for. We want to be kind of a convenience and community hub, for people to come
yeah.
together. And
Well, I think that also speaks to the design of the facility itself. I mean, it's yeah, really beautifully well done. I mean, I really love the store. Everything about it is simplicity. There's a touch of sophistication without being snooty or a turnoff, and I could absolutely see why people would want to go there. I think it's just the kind of place that's inviting and welcoming, and it's just unexpected as well. Which I always like about design, things that are a little unexpected, and
yeah,
it creates curiosity, like what is this new thing that's
yeah.
out there. So, but the design is incredible. I really, really love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
We really, and I think some of these images are helpful. What I'll tell you, Joe, is we spent a lot of time. We worked with several design partners. We had an interior design partner. We had a primary architect. We had a brand consultant. All three, partners. We spent extensive time on the front end trying to get this just right. Spent a lot of time talking about wayfinding and making sure it was clear, for the guests to figure out exactly where they needed to go to shop. I think you see the photo there on the right of kind of
Yeah.
the cooler and freezer doors, where you can see we've got kind of the header signage, and then below that we have the flag signs that above the cooler. You can see it on the photo on the top left with the beer and wine, and then the fresh eats, making it very clear where the kitchen is located. So that was all intentional. And one of the other things we wanted to do, and we wanted to bring down the height of the gondolas for the center store merchandise, to have really clean line of sight across the store. So when the guests come in, you can see completely across the store, and same thing for our staff. That makes it much easier to kind of sense maybe when a guest needs help looking for something. And so those things were very intentional. And we also wanted to create kind of an elevated environment, but have it feel organic. So a lot of what you see in the store, you've got polished concrete floors, you've got the use of woods and some of these kind of organic materials. So we wanted it to feel very organic and very welcoming.
Yeah,
And
well, I was going to say, well done, because I think you've absolutely achieved that. I even love the image on the lower right-hand corner there.
Yeah.
It's just, again, it's the kind of subtle little ways of changing people's impressions of what this store may or may not be. And just the fact that it's not a standard gondola. I know you have some of those, but just that one image just really speaks to a whole different experience. And it's really beautifully done.
I think it's elevated, but still approachable is the way
Yeah,
that I like to
definitely.
think about it. That's what
Uh,
we're trying to achieve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I think you've done that.
Thank
Well,
you.
having been there, I've been there recently, and it is that exactly that. You walk in and it's just, you know exactly where to go. I mean, there's nothing. It's hard when you go into a store and you're like, wait, where do I go? How do I check out? What do I do? But it's just you walk right in through the door, and fresh eats is the very first thing you see. And I even like how you divided the and that wasn't on your pictures, but you divided the seating area with a sink and a pedestal area where you could, I don't know, people probably like organize themselves and their food right there too, but there's a sink. Wash your hands. It's like, oh my gosh, how many times have I come into one of these with my kid who's sweaty after a soccer baseball game, and I'm like, ugh, wash your hands. And I mean, I don't know if hopefully it's intended for that purpose, because that's
It
exactly
is.
what I would
You're
send them
spot on,
towards.
Carolyn. We wanted the hand sink, when customers come in and maybe they don't have to use a restroom, but they're ordering food. So
Mhm.
rather than to have to go to the restrooms in the back of the store, you've got a hand sink right there and over by the
Mhm.
dining area. Or, you finish up and a lot of times you eat, maybe you spill something or whatever, you have the opportunity to wash your hands before exiting. So that was intentional. And I'm glad you made note of it, because that's exactly what we were
I
hoping
have
for.
kids, they're dirty. But I mean, yeah, and then there's the indoor and outdoor seating, which in our area
Mhm.
here, once you get to like July, forget it. You're not sitting, probably
That's
not
right.
sitting outside. You don't get those nice days, but you have that option. But it was just very well laid out, and the food choices. I had some of the chips and the cookies, amazing. So I have
Thank you.
to say that I'll certainly be back. I didn't try donuts. I don't know why. I mean, I should have hit the donuts right off. You even had a
The
nice display
The
after I bought
cinnamon
everything.
donuts, you have to. And the donuts are made, obviously, they make several batches a day. Everything's made fresh, and they're fantastic.
And I have to commend your staff. They were super, super nice. I needed a wrapper to pick out the cookie, and she was like, "Oh, I'll be right back." And then she was talking to me and everything. So, your staff is super friendly and wonderful. So great job
Thank
to
you.
those guys.
I'm
And then
saying,
now,
I'm going to
go ahead,
say
Jeff.
New Jersey should be next. That's where I live. So keep coming north.
That's Wawa quick check territory, Joe. But yeah, we are
You'll
talking
do
about
well.
geographic expansion.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. I can't wait.
So you're more than just food there too. You have fuel and you have car wash as well.
We do, yeah, and car wash is a big part of overall Wills Group's business. So Splashin is our car wash brand and proprietary brand, kind of complementary to Dashin. And we have a standard kind of rollover car wash here. Splashin also has several large format tunnel conveyor car washes, but this is our standard in-bay automatic variety. And we really like that. We like to co-locate car wash, obviously, with fuels and with convenience and food and beverage. And so it's kind of that notion that you have a one-stop shop convenience retailing, experience. And we do a lot of cross promotion. So customers will get a 20-cent fuel discount when they buy it with a car wash. We're also going to be implementing a car wash membership for our in-bay automatic locations later this year. We do have membership today for our tunnel car washes. So we think that that's a great loyalty component for our customers. And then from a fuels perspective, we don't really do anything unique, pretty much standard within the industry. We're focused on, just standard gasoline and diesel fueling opportunities. We are top tier certified. So we have that licensing for the added detergents for the fuel to ensure that it's of the highest quality, per the EPA standards in the United States. And one of the things we're really excited about with the launch of our mobile app is that you'll actually be able to go through the fueling experience through the app when we launch that. And we're going to be launching that here in Loudoun, and call it probably by June. So that will include going through kind of the fueling experience and apps, mobile ordering for food service, third-party delivery, as well as purchasing a car wash through the app and having a code delivered directly to your device. And then eventually we're going to integrate membership as part of that as well. So we think that these are both, the fuels is a big part of our business. And Dashin's now starting to test out EV charging. So we did not add EV chargers at this specific location, but we just opened our first EV charging location in the Richmond, Virginia market. And we've got more sites along the way. And so we want to test that and try to understand what's the play for EV charging as part of this energy transition that we know we're going to see.
Yeah, that's important. So, I mean, we'll certainly have you back on when you can tell us that successful story.
Appreciate it.
So before we wrap up, was there any last thoughts on the final touches? So you put a lot of effort into making sure there's just the right plant in the right place in the beer and wine area. It looked really nice.
Yeah.
Like your soda fountains, that was something.
Yeah,
that
I
was
wanted to
something I've
talk a
never
little
seen
bit
before.
about beverage, Carolyn. Yeah, that was one of the things I'd love to talk about, and it'd be helpful if we had,
Beverage.
kind of a visual. There you go, perfect. This was something that was unique, and we ended up implementing a tap wall in lieu of a traditional fountain machine, like you would typically see in convenience and in all of our other stores. So one of the things that's unique about this store concept is we have a 22-foot beverage wall that includes, coffee, fountain, frozen dispensed beverage, and then we also have the bubblers that you can see there in the bottom center. And so on the tap wall, we have a combination of kind of your traditional carbonated soft drinks. There's also some non-carbonated products that we offer in that. We have a couple teas on tap. And then one thing that's a little bit interesting is we've partnered with Tractor to offer organic sodas. So you can see tap handles there. There's a cucumber soda, a cherry lime, and a organic root beer. And we've had really good success with that. We also developed our own proprietary recipes for our bubbler program. So there's a combination of lemonades, limeades, agua fresca drinks. And some of those agua fresca drinks also have kind of natural energy as part of it, knowing that energy is a pretty big category segment in convenience. So we've been really thrilled with this. We also have a bean to cup coffee program. And so I think customers have absolutely loved the tap wall. It's kind of a new experience. I think we're one of only a few applications in the United States for a tap wall. And with the proprietary recipes for the bubbler machines, those have been very, very well received. Particularly with the teenage kids, I mean, they just absolutely love those drinks, and so we've been very pleased with that. And it's a point of differentiation for us.
I love the tap wall. I think anything you could do that changes the perception of a convenience store. Those big ugly boxes that you typically see. This is really fantastic, and it fits the personality of the brand absolutely, spot on.
Yeah. So we're really excited,
and
the beverage program is doing extremely well to start out. So we're really excited about where this can take shape, and we're talking about integrating some of this in our existing stores too, going back and retrofitting, over time.
Oh, and I was going to say, through my dash-in cup of only water today, but it was delicious. I had one of the teas, and it's Joe, where you see the one tap wall, there's an ice machine in the middle, and then there's another side. I think that maybe I'm guessing Coca-Cola and Pepsi, we had to, keep those, put a little ice in the middle, but then you can flow a lot easier too. So it was really special.
We've got, I think it was 16 tap handles, I believe, there. So yeah, you saw the sodas on the right-hand side. On the other side of the ice dispenser, there was the teas as well as some other sodas.
Well, you certainly left nothing unturned there. That's for sure. And I'm sure you'll continue to evolve as you figure out what works. And
absolutely.
And it's such a growing area. Like I was saying before we got started, it's an area where the roads just kind of end because they haven't caught up with the population. So you're going to, the next 3 years, I'd say the next year is going to look completely different in that area. So you struck gold on the location.
I think it's about 22% population growth forecasted annually in that market. So we're very excited about that. We've gotten off to a good start, and we think it's just going to continue to grow over time.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I'd like to bring on someone else who is a food service equipment expert in our area, who's been in the industry for quite a while, who I've known it from several years back. I'm going to bring on Graham Veal. Graham, if you'd like to turn your camera on. Graham is currently serving on the board of advisors for Adande Refrigeration. And for over 2 decades, the president of Mary Chef, who's a pioneer in the application of speed ovens in the market. So welcome, Graham. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, Caroline. Delighted to be with you. Nice to be back on the same platform with Joe, and really pleased to see you, Blackie.
Yeah, pleasure to see you too, Graham.
Yeah, really enjoyed that presentation. I think it's, the Gateway Village is very exciting, has a lot of good things to it. And as you say, you set out to differentiate yourself in certain ways. And I think Carolyn said it, lots of cool stuff which is something very nice.
We're trying to create the adult version of a kid in a candy shop, I think. Well, not just adults, but kind of run the full gambit, across different age groups. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're doing pretty well on that basis.
Thank you.
Graham was watching in the background, I think. Did you have any thoughts on what you saw there?
Yes, I think what stands out for me, Blackie, from what you've done there at Gateway Village is that, your execution of this, what is it, made today, gone today, freshness concept. That really fascinates me as a food service professional and somebody who's been involved with the technology for many years. Because that's a tough thing to pull off. I remember working in Canada and Northeast United States with Tim Hortons when they introduced the Always Fresh offer in the neighborhoods. And I think what you're doing there reminds me a little of Tim Hortons, but you've differentiated it in a very different way for Dash In, which I think is very exciting. To be able to put together what you describe as that wholesome menu, that mix of indulgent and healthy options, but keep it relatively simple, not too wide a menu choice that you overrun the kitchen space or put too much pressure on staff and staff training to deliver it. I think that differentiates you really nicely. And I know Dash has always been known for your tasty range of fresh eats, but I just think you've elevated it to a new level, which is very exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for that, Graham. And I think, touching on the kind of made today, gone today freshness guarantee, in part, we're not large enough to have commissary serve us. And so we know that we have to prepare all the food on site. And so it's important, I think, to convey that to the customer, because a lot of times in convenience, a lot of retailers are served by commissaries. And so it's something, and part of, you talked about the kitchen, we've had to be very diligent of how to staff the kitchen. There's quite a bit of prep work that happens, because we were trying to do it initially all through like line cooking, and it just did not work. And so we've developed a pretty good schedule about line cooking, prep cooking. We even have full-time dishwashers at this location, just because that's the amount of throughput. And in hindsight, I maybe regret not having put in automatic dishwashers, but that's something we could figure out over time.
Yeah, I think I read that your mission there is everything is freshly produced in 4 to 5 minutes.
That's our goal, is within 5 minutes. And that's something we track through our kitchen production system to see how we're performing on that. And right now, we're not totally meeting that. We're operating about 5.5, 6 minutes, but we've seen steady progression on that. And we anticipate we're going to be there soon enough. A lot of it is trying to leverage hot hold technology too, as part of the production process, to try to ensure that we can accelerate that to get the fulfillment times down.
Yes, I'm pleased to see you also have Merrychef ovens in that location.
We do. We absolutely do.
Harks back to the work I used to do with Joe in the old days, and I'm very pleased to see you invested in that, that fresh cook to order as well, which is very, very exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a combination. We have a grab and go program. We obviously have the fresh made to order program. And depending on the customer use case, I mean, there are some folks that literally time is more important than customization. So we want to offer opportunities for both. But we don't feel like we've compromised the food quality on the grab and go. We think it's just as good as the made to order.
Very good.
Joe, do you have any questions based on the food or anything else as we get closer to the end?
No, I think, Graham summed it up pretty well. I think it's just pretty inspiring for me to see sort of the industry continuing to progress. I mean, it wasn't that many years ago where people were just, what equipment can I use to, throw out there that would be self-service, whether it's a roller grill or some chili nacho thing that, kind of sat on a counter and getting stale and old. But to see this level of sophistication and quality of ingredients and made to order and the freshness is just really amazing to see how the industry's progressed. And I would say that from this one store, at least, that Dash is certainly at the top end of, where the industry is headed. And it's, pretty inspiring to say the least.
Yeah, I think, and Joe, this is not where we've have been. We had roller grills at one time, and COVID kind of sealed the fate of that, and so we've moved on. But I think you're right. The industry is going to continue to evolve, and I think we've proven that we can compete with quick serve restaurants, and fast casual restaurants, and I think we tried to make a statement with this store, and I think we're competing with the likes of the Paneras with this concept. And so we feel good about it, and we're going to continue to evolve and adapt over time to provide a better customer experience.
Yeah, fantastic.
Sam, did you have any additional questions?
Yeah, I think a couple, Blackie, for you on the cool side, if you like, of food service there. First one is around speed of service and optimizing labor. As I understand it, with this, made today, gone today freshness guarantee, you have daily deliveries into the store of fresh ingredients and others perhaps that are prepared. I guess those are into what walk-in refrigerators at the back of the store where you hold that.
Absolutely. Yeah. The back of house has a significant amount of refrigeration space as well as some freezer space. So US Foods is our broadline food supplier, and we're getting several deliveries per week from them. I think we're on 3 days a week currently. And we may need to expand that if the demand continues to grow.
Yes, of course. And in terms of percentage between chilled and frozen, what is that?
Oh, the chilled is much higher. Yeah, I would say the chilled is probably, 70% is my guess, Graham. Yeah. Yeah, we moved away. I mean, there are some frozen product that we, like for instance, tater tots and waffle fries, a couple of our side items. Obviously that comes in frozen, but when you think about like whether it's the ground beef or the shaved ribeye, some of the chicken product, the pork carnitas, we're bringing in that stuff refrigerated typically. And then in some of our fresh bakery, a lot of it kind of is, I mentioned the donuts are made in house. We do have some danishes and croissants and biscuits that actually is a frozen product that comes in that gets slacked and then baked off. So it is a mix, but a tremendous amount of refrigeration here in this new locations.
And do you hold a lot in terms of under counter refrigeration? Do you hold a lot in the cooking area and the prep area?
We do, yeah. Underneath the countertops, you got a tremendous amount of refrigeration. I couldn't tell you exactly how many cubic feet we have, but it's far exceeds anything we've ever had before in our prior neighborhood stores, our second generation stores.
Yeah, that strikes me as an area of focus because, to deliver that freshness guarantee, it reminds me of working in food service and particularly fast food, quick service restaurants, and with Tim Hortons, I mentioned, with Wawa too, where there was that old adage that, one step for a store, a crew member, was 1 second on the customer service time, and if you had them walking back.
You're 100% right, and I don't think that we have the kitchen space planning and programming just right. We're going through refinements with that, and part of the refinement was figuring out that we really needed to separate line cooking and prep cooking, and we didn't really allocate enough space for some of the prep that's happening. But we're making refinements for the future builds to incorporate that.
Yeah, no, very exciting. Second question, just query quickly, is around sort of food security, food safety, and sustainability. Yeah. Do you think there's, in terms of equipment technology, is there any piece of equipment you invested in which you feel plays to that food safety, sustainability agenda in terms of, giving you a certain advantage?
Yeah, we've invested. One of the, you mentioned, the Mary Chef ovens. Obviously, we have another piece of equipment was the Alto-Shaam Vector oven, which we've implemented, which has proven to be really a great piece of equipment for us. We're very excited about that, and we're now integrating that into equipment package at some existing stores to do a lot of the in-house bakery items. And we're also working, we've got Winston hot hold cabinets, and we're still working on some of that to get the humidity and temperature controls just right to try to shorten up the cook times, the fulfillment times. So we're still fine tuning that and have some work to do, but making a lot of progress. And those were 2 new pieces of equipment for us.
Yeah, I know, both great selections, and on top of the Mary Chef, and perhaps we'll just have to come and talk to you about these guys at Adanda in the UK producing wonderful under-counter fridges that hold the temperature, hold the cold very effectively.
Would love to. Would love to have that conversation.
Thank you, Blackie. I think it's a great offer. Really pleased to see.
Thank you, Graham. Appreciate it.
So Blackie, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, which actually is a perfect transition here, Graham, thank you for this, is your community activism. And one of the things I used to work with your team back in the day when I worked at NACS was with your food waste, combating food insecurity for the communities. You worked closely with food banks in the area, with No Kid Hungry, which is a organization that's really close to my heart because it really helps the community. But beyond that, you were working, I saw the video on our in the article today with the farm programs, and you give away a very healthy amount to charities, which I commend you for. So is there anything you want to share, just telling us a little bit about your community work and how you really get in there, and not only just to become a member of that community, but to really help people?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Carolyn. Thank you. Yeah, we have two signature community engagement programs. The first is Nourishing Children and Families, and that's where we work a lot with local food bank and food pantry partners. And so we've established relationships with groups within Loudoun County. We do a lot of stuff at like the state and regional level, but we're kind of shifting to be very hyper local. And a lot of it is basics, contributions in order to provide food for those in need. But really now we're focused on how do we help solve the food insecurity problems that we have, within this country and within today's world. And so we're trying to help, with some of our partners advance their education, build their platforms, and raise awareness for that. We've also started to partner with some folks that do a lot in the way of kind of growing, like community gardens. We work with a group in Maryland called Farming for Hunger that works with a local school system to educate kids about nutrition and the value of fresh produce and things like that, and eating more nutritious foods. So we're really excited about continuing to advance that program. And our second signature program is called Reimagining Outdoor Spaces. And there we work with looking at local parks and playgrounds, maybe that are in need of reinvestment. And we want to create kind of vibrant, welcoming places for communities to come together. And so we try to do 2 projects per year. We did a big project near our headquarters in La Plata, Maryland last year, where we invested $130,000 in a local park and playground. And it was an area where vegetation, landscaping around the park had become significantly overgrown. It had not been maintained well. So we completely redid all the landscaping. We resurfaced the basketball courts. We worked with the community and a local artist to develop murals on the courts. We added benches and seating. And so we're really excited about that program. And we subscribe to the notion that if we take care of our communities, they're going to take care of us. And so, it's building better experiences for our guests, our employees, and our communities. And we think that that's going to serve us well in the long run. So, yeah, thanks for allowing me to share a little bit about what we do from a community engagement perspective.
Oh, well, thank you for all you do. And I don't even think I could have closed it any better with a tagline or whatever we want to call it. That was beautiful. So
that's what we call our simple plan. Yeah, it's providing better experiences for our guests, our employees, and our communities. So we think that's going to help us continue to grow.
Oh, for sure. Well, Blackie, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Anybody in the area, please do get out and visit this store. It's amazing. We have more on our website with a new article with some photos of, as well as some videos as well. You can see the kitchen in action and the community work in action. Joe, Graham, thank you so much for your valuable insights. You guys have been in this industry all over the world, helping with food, helping with equipment, and helping with design. So you contributed greatly to really making this a special episode. So thank you all for joining me today. Have a great day.
Thanks, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Blackie.
Thank you all. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Appreciate the opportunity.